Good evening, Southeast Texas. We're going to take an in-depth look at your 7-day forecast, things that I don't usually have time to address but at, say, 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. So we've got 15 minutes to go through the nitty-gritty to the nth degree. So our forecast for tomorrow looks like about a 20 to 30% coverage of showers and thunderstorms here in Beaumont around noontime and into the early afternoon hours. Now for your Juneteenth, it does look like high temperatures will likely be into the lower 90s, and it also looks like the best chances of rain will be north of, say, Beaumont in through Hardin, southern Jasper, and southern Newton counties per latest high-res modeling. Otherwise, partly cloudy to partly sunny skies are expected, and a fairly light south to southeast wind expected for tomorrow afternoon. So a typical summertime pattern. This is what we see this time of year. Hot, humid, and partly cloudy afternoons with a slight chance each afternoon. Maybe a little lower chances coming up Friday, Saturday, and then the rain chances will be going up as we head towards the early and middle part of next week as a pattern change is expected. And it'll make more sense in just a second. If you're suffering allergies like Ebony today, it's because of the weed and grass pollen, and also moderate levels of mold being measured in southeast Texas today. So not quite as good as what we saw yesterday on the allergy front. Otherwise, right now we are done with the rain and thunderstorm activity, the limited rain and thunderstorm activity we saw today, as everything has moved off towards the north. Temperatures currently in the mid to upper 80s on the Pro Roofing Concepts satellite and radar loop. Oh, what a surprise, raining around Lafayette again. It's one of the wettest parts in our region. It seems like every day they get rain and thunderstorm activity this time of year. All right, so we said yesterday that we thought most of the rain and thunderstorm activity today would be more north of the Triangle, and look at that. It certainly did that. And we considered the Triangle, Orange, and Jefferson counties, and you can see the coverage was a lot more up towards Tyler, Jasper, and Newton counties this afternoon. And that will be likely the case coming up tomorrow on Juneteenth. Many of you will be off tomorrow, so it looks like lower chances Triangle. The sea breeze needs time to organize and then develop and then move towards the north, and that's why we are getting a better coverage each afternoon at this point north of the Triangle. Dew points, this is always the fun part of the year. This is not what I enjoy. I've lived here pretty much all my life. And as you can see, dew points well into the 70s, making it very, very uncomfortable outside. And when you get into the lower and possibly mid-90s, that's when you get those triple-digit heat indices, and that's what we're likely going to see coming up tomorrow. So if you are off and not used to being outside during the hottest part of the days, make sure you certainly keep hydrated. In the upper levels of the atmosphere, it's high pressure right there in the eastern Pacific, and that is what is going to be our main player in the forecast. This high in the eastern Pacific is going to be drifting our way as we go through, say, later this week. So that high will cut rain chances, we think, coming up Friday, Saturday, and possibly Sunday before it heads over towards New England. So tonight, pretty quiet forecast across the area. It's just going to be a little bit above normal. I believe our normal low temperatures right now are in the mid-70s, and we'll be just a few degrees above that. Otherwise, temperatures will likely drop into the mid-70s in the lakes area. We'll go about 75, and between 77 and about 80 here in the Triangle. Mostly clear skies are expected, not expecting any fog, but we are expecting it certainly to be uncomfortable. And then tomorrow, on your Juneteenth, it looks like the first half of the day will be fairly quiet. Now, after about 10 o'clock, things will start popping, we think, on radar, and we should see our best chances of rain and thunderstorm. Notice north of I-10, very similar today coming up tomorrow. Looks like best chances of rain and thunderstorm activity, Hardin, southern Jasper, southern Newton counties, and the wind's more out of the south-southwest up in the lakes area, so the sea breeze may have a tough time, or at least a little difficulty trying to make it up towards the lakes area coming up tomorrow once it does form over towards Silsbee. But again, we'll go with about a 40% coverage inland southeast Texas and about a 20, maybe 30% coverage in the lakes area, and similar forecast here in the Triangle. Otherwise, a south to southeast wind off the Gulf, and as you can see, temperatures in the lower 90s tomorrow for the most part. I think that 94 is a little bit too hot. Otherwise, evening looks pretty good across southeast Texas. So in the upper levels of the atmosphere, this is the main story as far as what we're expecting. So as we head on into the weekend, or at least later this week, this high will drift towards Texarkana. And so that means that as we head towards, say, Friday and Saturday, the high will be centered over Texarkana, ridging into our area. So rain chances normally go down. Why? Because high pressure causes sinking air. Clouds like to rise. And if you have something trying to push down on those clouds, like this large-scale high, that stifles shower and thunderstorm activity because it causes subsidence and sinking. It also limits CAPE, or instability, because the mid-levels of the atmosphere actually warm, and that is not something you want to produce instability. Remember, you want the temperature to go down as you go up into the atmosphere to increase surface instability. Well, that's not the case with a high over your area. That counteracts the instability and it causes stability. So with the high weakening over our area and then heading off towards New England, boy, it's certainly going to get hot as we head towards the weekend up towards New York City and that area, where they could likely see triple-digit heat indices, or actual triple-digit heat temperatures, I should say. They're not used to that, obviously, so not a good situation for them. So the flow around high pressure is clockwise. Remember, that means that we will see more of an easterly flow, and also means that we will see then a southeasterly flow as the high really settles off towards, say, the mid-Atlantic. So any disturbances that are in the Gulf, or any amount of moisture, maybe a surge of moisture, could head on in off the Gulf, and that would cause, well, a better chance of rain and thunderstorm activity. This is moisture. Remember, clouds don't like dry levels in the atmosphere. In order to produce shower and thunderstorm activity, you need a moist, high amounts of moisture from the surface up to the top, maybe 20 to 30,000 feet. If there's any dry layers in there, then that counteracts the buoyancy and the instability. And that does not look like that's going to be the case as we head towards Wednesday. So we need something to cause the lift. We need either a sea breeze or an upper level disturbance. We see some upper level disturbances, and we also see a weak sea breeze trying to develop. All right, number 409-749-9302 if you have a question. And checking in with our messages, want to call in to work tomorrow. Will the weather be nice for golf? Yeah, it'll be fine for golf tomorrow. All right, so fine for golf. Just keep an eye to the sky. Looks like about a 30% coverage, 30 to 40% coverage. Okay, so the big picture is that as we head on into next week, it does look like rain chances that will return to the forecast. Now, as we take a look at the forecast for the next several days as far as the tropical Gulf and also the Caribbean, it looks like things will be quiet through the next 7 to 10 days, probably closer to 14 days, we think, and that will certainly get us well into the first few days of July. Now, if we could drop that super for me, you see Eric, look at the eye in the Eastern Pacific. We do not worry about Pacific hurricanes. You may see it, well, we don't worry about it. The only thing that Pacific hurricanes do is that maybe they come around over towards western Mexico and they fling moisture into Texas. That means increasing cloud cover and moisture, and that could give us rain, but certainly not anything to worry about as far as winds. And again, we don't just use one model. We use ensemble modeling. Here are 30 runs, and as you can see an envelope of where this is going to go. A few members take it off well into Mexico to the north, while the vast majority of them take it paralleling the coast and then on inland. So obviously not going to go across Mexico into the Gulf. So we are fine with Eric. Otherwise, on the Gulf tomorrow, looking at slightly choppy seas around 2 feet in your coastal marine forecast. So if you are going to be out on the water tomorrow, again, make sure you have sunscreen and everybody has a life preserver. Water temperature 86 on one high tide tomorrow at Sabine Pass at 10:18 p.m. Our forecast for tonight, again, I think we're pretty much done with any shower thunderstorm activity. It looks mostly clear, light southeasterly winds possibly going calm. So mid-70s lakes area and the mid-70s to around 80 degrees is all she wrote for low temperatures here in the Triangle. Then for tomorrow, Again, it looks like a 20, maybe 30% coverage. I always give it a little bit wet just in case. I think it's probably going to only be about 20% coverage in the triangle, but we'll go with 30% coverage. And then a 40% coverage as the sea breeze organizes and then moves to the north. We'll go with a 40% coverage in inland southeast Texas. That's from Kuntz, Sour Lake, Lumberton, Silsbee, back over to Buna. That's where the best chance of shower and thunderstorm activity will be. And then maybe as much as about a 30% coverage in the lakes area. But again, the other issue tomorrow besides a holiday is that the dadgum heat index, look at about 101, 102, it may be 103 if this model is correct. So again, if you're going to be playing tomorrow and going to be off and outdoors, keep hydrated. Make sure the kids have sunscreen, as it's going to be pretty hot across southeast Texas. Certainly not going to be record breaking, and we've done this before, but still putting things in perspective. So again, in Beaumont, we're going 92 and a 30% coverage of afternoon showers and storms in the south to southeast wind. Let's see what the model says. It shows only about 20% coverage, and that may be the case at about 92, 93 in Beaumont tomorrow. So again, afternoon showers and thunderstorms are expected. For the lakes area, we'll go the 30% coverage and a south to southwest wind at 3 to 8 miles an hour. The model, that's my forecast right here. Now the model is showing about 94 tomorrow and a 20% coverage. So we'll see if that materializes. So again, I think it's going to be between the lakes and the triangle that we'll see the best coverage of shower and thunderstorm activity. Now as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, again, your Juneteenth, about a 30% coverage. And we're about where we need to be this time of year as far as temperatures. Now, we'll maybe go a little bit above normal as we head towards Saturday, but notice how as that high moves on into the Arklatex and ridges on into East Texas, notice how the rain chances go down. May not see much coming up Friday and Saturday into Sunday with partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies. This also means that the lakes area about a 94, 95, maybe 96 degree reading, not unheard of, and it's certainly possible coming up Friday and Saturday especially. Then as we work on into Monday, we'll go with a 30% coverage. And again, modeling is very wet next week. We're just not buying it because of the lack of any real significant upper level disturbances. So this is going to have to be sea breeze oriented, and with an easterly flow at about 10,000 feet coming up Monday and Tuesday, I'm just reluctant to go above about a 30% coverage. Wednesday though, that flow in the mid-levels around 10,000 feet becomes more southeasterly, so maybe a 40 to 50% coverage on partly sunny skies as we head towards Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday we'll see partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. Notice how the high temperatures come down. Otherwise, at your weather impact 7-day forecast. So this is the European model, and we'll put this into motion and show you how wet it is and how I just cannot go with that. This is what we were supposed to have today. We didn't get that. See how biased it is as far as being wet biased. Otherwise, it does look like wet weather will return coming up next week, and I believe this is frozen on me. Obviously, let me check this out real quick. I'm having to attend to a possible computer malfunction. Oh goodness. Okay, what just happened? Well, it froze on me. So we will backtrack and just show you the 7-day forecast as I'm running out of time and try to figure out what just happened. But basically, it does look like a scattering of shower and thunderstorm activity is to be expected as we head towards tomorrow afternoon on your Juneteenth. Not the wettest of Juneteenths that we've ever seen, but it does look like a scattering of showers and storms. Just keep an eye to the sky. Otherwise, I'll be here and we will be doing updates. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. High pressure will be making its closest approach to us. It'll be ridging from Texarkana to East Texas, so rain chances 10, maybe 20% coverage under mostly sunny to partly cloudy